Welcome to Motivalish Talks, and where motivation meets English learning. Every episode brings you powerful stories, life lessons, and practical tips to help you speak better and live better. Let's get started.
Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever found yourself wrestling with a grammar rule, only to realize that pretty much everyone around you seems to be doing something, well, different?
Oh, all the time. It feels like the language is constantly shifting, doesn't it?
Exactly. It's like it's alive. But what if those rules, what if they aren't quite what we've been taught? Maybe something more flexible.
That's really the fascinating part, and something our sources today really emphasize is that English grammar isn't some rigid set of laws.
Right.
It's more like, well, a living thing. It's been, and this is a quote, in a state of flux for pretty much its entire existence.
Wow, its entire existence.
Pretty much. So the rules are often just reflecting how we actually use the language day to day, which, raises a question.
Which is?
How does understanding this flexibility actually help us communicate better? Does it empower us?
That's a fantastic point. And that's what we're doing today, diving deep into the maybe surprising world of English grammar. We're pulling insights mostly from Complete English Grammar Rules by Farlex International, and also the Writing Skills Practice Book for EFL American English.
Good sources.
Yeah, and our mission here, just to be clear, isn't to be grammar police or, lay down the law.
Definitely not.
Instead, we want to explore how English really works, its adaptability, the sometimes quirky logic, or lack thereof.
The charming inconsistencies.
Exactly. And the goal for you listening is to hopefully walk away feeling a bit more confident, maybe more effective in, everything from reading to sending that important email.
Precisely. And the preface of that main source, the Farlex one, it says explicitly these aren't constrictive or proscriptive rules.
Oh.
They're guides, observations of how people communicate. So it's less about memorizing lists and more about maybe tuning into the rhythm and structure of the language as it's really used.
Okay, so if we want to make sense of this dynamic system, our sources suggest thinking about grammar in three big buckets.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Parts of speech, inflection, and syntax.
Right. And they're not separate things, are they? They're all linked.
Intrinsically linked, yeah. They weave together. You need all three for coherent communication. They're like the basic building blocks.
Gotcha. Building blocks.
And just a quick note, our main source does focus a bit more on standard styles and spellings used in American English.
Okay.
So while a lot of this is universal English, some details might not perfectly match, say, British English or other communities. It's good to keep that wider context in mind.
Good point. So English has its variations. Okay, so if grammar is about how words are shaped and connected, let's get into how words actually change shape. That's inflection.
That's inflection, exactly. The sources define it as the process by which words are changed in form to create new, specific meanings.
So basically, words bending a bit to mean something slightly different.
Precisely. And we usually see this in two main ways. When verbs change form like tense, that's called conjugation.
Like run becomes ran.
Exactly. And then there's declension that applies to nouns, pronouns, adjectives, adverbs. The most common example is just making a noun plural. Cat becomes cats.
Ah, plurals. That's where English gets interesting. Both consistent and kind of chaotic.
Definitely. Most nouns are regular, right? You just add an S or ES. Table, tables, box, boxes, easy.
But then you hit those words ending in a consonant plus Y.
Right, like hobby. You have to change the Y to I and add ES. So hobbies, little spelling tweak.
But then you get the really irregular plurals of the ones our source says defy any sort of spelling guidelines at all.
Yes, those are the ones you just have to learn, like person becoming people.
Or wife to wives.
Exactly, or even housewife to housewives. It just reminds you, English keeps you on your toes.
It really does. And speaking of quirks, gender in nouns, that's different from a lot of languages, isn't it?
Very different. Unlike, say, French or Spanish, where every noun has a gender, English nouns today are generally gender neutral.
Generally, but not always.
Not always. We still see remnants, mostly with that S suffix for feminine forms. Think count and countess, prince and princess.
Actor and actress.
Right, though that's a great example of change. The source notes this S ending is becoming less common, especially for jobs.
Like flight attendant instead of stewardess.
Exactly. And actor is often used for both men and women now, even though actress still exists. It shows language adapting to cultural shifts, moving towards neutrality.
Makes sense. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Let's talk about the words that connect things in a sentence. The unsung heroes, prepositions and conjunctions.
Ah, yes, the glue. So prepositions, they express a relationship between a noun or pronoun and another part of the sentence.
Forming those little phrases like on the table or in the shed.
Exactly, prepositional phrases. And they do so much work, showing time like at noon in August.
Or reason, because of the delay.
Or location. The Statue of Liberty is located in New York Harbor. They're tiny but powerful.
But they can be tricky, right, for learners, even native speakers.
Oh, definitely. A classic confusion is to. Is it a preposition showing direction, like walk to school?
Or is it part of an infinitive verb, like I want to run?
Precisely. That little word to does double duty. And another common slip-up our source mentions, you arrived at the airport, not arrived to the airport.
Arrived at. Got it. It sounds right when you say it.
It does. Small difference, big impact on sounding natural.
And what about that key of versus key to thing?
Right. The source points this out clearly. Key of my room just sounds wrong in modern English. It should be key to my room, implying access.
Access, okay. But then it gets subtle, like main door of the house versus main door to the house.
Exactly. Of the house suggests ownership, part of the structure. To the house emphasizes the access point. It's nuanced, isn't it?
Wow, yeah. One tiny word.
And English just has these combinations you learn through exposure. Nouns are adjectives that pair with specific prepositions.
Like anxiety about something.
Or interested in something, or different from something else. You sort of absorb these patterns.
Okay, so those are prepositions. What about the other connectors, conjunctions?
Conjunctions are the linguistic glue. They connect other words, phrases, or clauses, showing a specific relationship.
And the most common ones are those, F and boys, right?
That's the mnemonic. For, and, nor, but, or yet, so. Those are the coordinating conjunctions.
And they can link single words.
Like run and swim.
Or phrases.
Willingness to negotiate and his strength.
Or even whole sentences. Well, independent clauses.
Right. It was raining, so I took an umbrella.
And that's where commas come in sometimes.
Exactly. When you join two independent clauses with a coordinating conjunction, you generally put a comma before the conjunction.
We went hiking, but I forgot my water.
Perfect. Though if the clauses are really short and closely linked, the comma can sometimes be optional. Stylistic choice, maybe?
But not if you're just linking words or phrases, right?
Yeah.
No comma then.
Correct. No comma for James and Jack. And then there's the whole Oxford comma debate.
The serial comma. Let's not open that can of worms.
Probably wise. It's purely style.
Okay, besides the M boys, there are other types.
Yes, correlative conjunctions. These are the paired ones. They work together.
Like not, but.
He's not happy but thrilled, emphasizes the contrast. Or not only, but also.
This house is not only large, but also cozy. They add a nice rhythm.
They do. They create parallelism. And a quick point on subject-verb agreement here.
Oh yeah, that could be tricky with pairs.
It can, especially if you have a singular and a plural subject joined. The rule of thumb is the verb usually agrees with the noun closest to it.
Okay, so neither the plumbers nor the electricians
Plural electricians.
are here yet.
Oh, yeah.
Or agrees with electricians.
Got it. But if it was neither the electrician nor the plumber.
Have us here yet.
As agrees with plumber, proximity matters.
Handy rule. Okay, let's move on to the big one. Verbs.
The engine of the sentence.
The sources say they indicate actions, processes, conditions, or states of being, and you absolutely cannot have a sentence without one.
Fundamentally essential. And verbs basically come in two main types, finite and non-finite.
Finite.
A finite verb connects directly to the subject and shows tense. It can be the main verb of the sentence, I swim every day. Swim is finite.
Okay. And non-final.
Non-finite verbs don't have that direct subject link in the same way. These are things like gerunds, and words used as nouns, infinitives, to plus verb, and participles.
So in we are learning, are is finite.
Yes, are is the finite verb showing present tense. Learning is the non-finite present participle telling us what we are doing.
Interesting. And you mentioned infinitives to run, to be. They come from verbs but don't always act like them.
Exactly. They can act as nouns, like in the famous to err is human. Here, to err is the subject, a noun function.
Or adjectives or adverbs are like grammatical shapeshifters.
They really are. And another key verb distinction is action versus stative.
Action verbs. They describe doing something, right?
Right. An active process that results in an effect, like I ran to school. And choosing a specific action verb makes a huge difference.
How so?
Well, compare Susie sat on the couch versus Susie collapsed onto her couch.
Ah, big difference in meaning. Collapsed tells you she was exhausted.
Exactly. Just by changing the verb.
Okay, so what about stative verbs?
Stative verbs describe states of being, not actions. Things like be, seem, sense verbs like smell or feel, or emotion verbs like, love, hate.
And the rule is usually no ing form with these.
Generally, yes. In formal standard English, you'd say, I like coffee, not I am liking coffee right now. Although
We have that second one conversationally, don't we?
we do, language evolves, but the key point is they describe a state, not an active process, and be itself has a fascinating exception.
Oh.
Usually you wouldn't say the children are being outside because being there describes a state,
Right.
but you can say the children are being too noisy. Why?
Because
Yeah.
there it means behaving, which is kind of an action.
Exactly. Being noisy means behaving noisily. Context is everything. It shows the flexibility.
That's a great example. The sources also mention light verbs.
Yes. These are verbs like have, take, make, do, give when they team up with a noun, and the verb itself doesn't carry much meaning alone. Think have a shower, take a break, make a decision.
Okay. The meaning is mostly in the noun part.
Right. And often different light verbs can mean the same thing. You can have a shower or take a shower.
Have lunch or take lunch.
Exactly. Common phrases.
And then the dreaded phrasal verbs.
Haha, yes. Vogue phrases that have idiomatic meanings. The meaning isn't obvious from the separate words.
Like mucked up or come across or get by.
Perfect examples. The verb plus its particle, which might look like a preposition or an adverb, creates a totally new meaning.
So you can't just guess them.
Not reliably. The source stresses this. The only way to truly feel comfortable with phrasal verbs is to recognize them, understand their unique meanings, and then begin to use them. Lots of exposure needed.
Okay, good advice. Now, thinking about verb forms, tense and conjugation. You mentioned run becoming ran. What's the deal with tenses in English?
Well, here's a surprise for many. Strictly speaking, English only has two grammatical tenses shown by verb endings, past and present.
Only two. What about the future?
English has no future tense in the strict sense, according to our source. We express the future using modal verbs like will or phrases like going to, but there isn't a specific future ending like ed for the past.
Wow, okay. Mind blown slightly.
It's more about auxiliary verbs and structure. And beyond tense, English uses aspect a lot.
Aspect.
Aspect tells us how an event happens on a timeline. Is it completed? Ongoing, habitual. That's the difference between I eat dinner, completed, simple past, and I was eating dinner, ongoing in the past continuous.
Or I have eaten dinner, completed at some point relative to now, present perfect.
Exactly. Aspect adds that layer of nuance about the timing and duration.
Okay, and quickly, making verbs negative. You can't just add not.
Not to main verbs? No. They require an auxiliary verb, usually do or does or did.
So, I do not work, not I work not.
Correct. Fundamental structure there.
And finally, those helper verbs. Modals.
Modal auxiliary verbs. Can, could, may, might, must, should, will, would. They add shades of meaning like ability, can, permission, may, possibility, might, necessity, must.
And they don't change for he or she, right? No less sending.
Correct. He can go, not he can go. And they become negative just by adding not after them. Cannot, should not.
And could is pretty versatile, polite requests.
Very versatile. Could you please? Or even introducing an opinion like, could I just say, it softens things.
Okay, that's a lot on verbs. Let's talk about adding color and detail. Adjectives and adverbs.
The describing words, adjectives modify nouns or pronouns. Bright red car, bright and red, tell us about the car.
Now they can team up in phrases too.
Definitely. An adjective phrase might have an adverb modifying the adjective, like a very good swimmer, or even a prepositional phrase acting like an adjective.
Like the cat on the shed.
Exactly. On the shed specifies which cat. It's doing an adjective's job.
Now this one surprised me. The royal order of adjectives, there's a specific order.
Isn't that fascinating? If you pile up adjectives before a noun, our brains seem to prefer a specific sequence. Opinion, size, measurement, shape, condition, age, color, pattern, origin, material, purpose. Roughly.
Wow. So that's why a big, tall man sounds right.
But a tall, big man sounds slightly off.
Yeah. Even though it's grammatically okay.
It's like an unspoken rule of rhythm or logic. Our brains just process it better that way. Try saying a red, bright car.
Oof. No. Sounds clunky. A bright red car. Much better.
See? It's ingrained. And speaking of measurement,
Yeah, how we describe age or height.
we say, he's 1 year old, or she's 5 feet tall. We use the adjective. But with weight,
It's different.
you say, she weighs 120 pounds using the verb, or she is 120 pounds. But the source specifically says she is 120 pounds heavy is incorrect. Strange exception.
Huh. Good to know. And compound adjectives.
Those are when two or more words act together as a single adjective, usually joined by a hyphen.
Like last-minute suggestion.
Or ice-cold soda. The hyphen links them to show they modify the noun together.
Okay, so those are adjectives. What about adverbs?
Adverbs are the super modifiers. They modify verbs, how, when, where an action happens. Adjectives very tall. Other adverbs move too slowly. Or even whole clauses.
And they form phrases too, adverbial phrases.
Yes, you can have adverbs modified by other words, like mitigators that lessen the intensity somewhat slowly, or intensifiers that boost it very well.
And prepositional phrases can be adverbial too.
Absolutely. Like, the woman went to the store to get some lettuce. That phrase tells us why she went the purpose. It's modifying the verb went.
Okay, common adverb confusions. The sources mentioned a few. Soon versus early.
Right. Soon is only for the future. See soon. You can't use it for the past.
But early works for both.
Yes. Early means before the expected time. I arrived early, past, or I'll arrive early, future. Both work.
Okay, what about any longer, any more, no longer? That cluster.
That's a tricky one. Any longer and any more, one word, are basically synonyms. You use them with a negative verb, usually at the end, to talk about time ending. I don't work there any longer anymore.
Okay, and no longer.
No longer makes the sentence negative itself, and it usually goes between the subject and the main verb in a positive structured sentence. I no longer work there. Same meaning, different structure.
And any more, as two words, any more, that's about quantity, right? I don't want any more coffee.
Precisely. 2 words for quantity, and a quick regional note. Toward is generally preferred in American English, towards in British. Both are understood.
Good tip. And lastly, for adverbs,
Yes.
evaluative ones.
Ah, yes. These are different. They comment on the whole sentence or clause, expressing the speaker's viewpoint. Words like certainly, frankly, obviously, hopefully.
Like, frankly, I don't agree. The frankly tells us the speaker's attitude.
Exactly. It modifies the whole statement, not just one word.
Got it. Okay, we've got the parts, the modifiers. How does it all come together in sentence construction? The subject.
The subject is key. It's the doer, or the main topic. It can be a noun, the dog barked, a pronoun, she laughed, a gerund, swimming is fun, or even an infinitive, to err is human.
But sometimes there isn't really a doer, is there? Like with weather.
Right, and that's where English uses what our sources call dummy pronouns, it and their. They fill the subject slot.
So you have to say, it is raining. You can't just say, is raining.
Correct. It is needed for weather, time, distance. And there is used when the real subject comes later or is indefinite. Is there anything I can do?
There are cookies on the table.
Perfect. You need that there to make the sentence grammatical. Seems simple, but crucial.
And the verb to be makes some common patterns.
It's very common. Subject plus be plus noun phrase, she is a doctor.
Yeah.
Subject plus be plus adjective, the music is loud. Subject plus be plus adverb phrase, he is never late. Foundational patterns.
And verb phrases are how we add all the extra info.
Pretty much. They expand on the verb, answering why, what, when, where, how. Starting with a basic I refuse, you add a verb phrase. I refuse to eat that awful food. Much more informative.
Makes sense. What about commands? Imperative sentences.
Simple structure there. You just use the base form of the verb, the bare infinitive, and usually omit the subject, you.
Stand up. Go away.
Exactly. Direct and clear. An exclamation mark adds urgency.
Now, in real life, conversational English, we break rules all the time, don't we? Like using fragments.
Oh, constantly. Sentence fragments are super common as responses. Someone asks when lunch is. In about an hour. Perfectly understood, not a full sentence.
That's good.
To an invitation.
Totally normal in conversation. And then there are idioms.
Phrases where the meaning is totally different from the literal words.
Exactly. Their meaning cannot be gleaned from the literal words, like catch my drift or long time no see.
Long time no see is famously ungrammatical if you analyze it literally.
Right. Idioms often follow their own logic and are frequently shortened. You just learn them as whole chunks. And similar, but maybe more formal. Proverbs.
Proverbs are those little self-contained sentences expressing a truth based on common sense or shared experience. Like idioms, they're often pared down grammatically.
Early to bed, early to rise.
Or, if the shoe fits, Short, punchy, understood culturally.
Okay, 2 more practical things. Direct versus reported speech.
Key distinction. Direct speech uses quotation marks for the exact words someone said. She said, "I'm leaving now."
Reported speech paraphrases it.
Yes, no quotes, and often the tense shifts back one step. She said that she was leaving then. Notice am becomes was, now becomes then. It reports the content, not the exact words.
Important for recounting conversations accurately, and finally asking questions.
Basic yes-no questions often invert the subject and the auxiliary verb, or be, is he here? Questions with who, what, which can sometimes have the question word as the subject. Who called?
And indirect questions. Those aren't real questions.
Right, sentences like, I wonder what time it is. It contains a question phrase, but the whole sentence is a statement. So in formal writing, it shouldn't end with a question mark.
He asked if I was ready. Period, not question mark.
Exactly. That's a common punctuation point.
Phew. Okay, that was a deep dive indeed. So wrapping up, what does all this complexity, this flexibility really mean for you, the listener?
I think it means seeing grammar less as a set of rigid chains and more as, well, an understanding of how this incredibly dynamic system works.
It's about empowerment, right?
Yeah.
Making your own communication clearer, maybe more precise, more engaging.
Absolutely. Whether you're speaking, writing, or even just reading and understanding nuances better, it's not just academic stuff. It affects how you interact with language every single day.
And hopefully, for you listening, getting these insights provides some of those aha moments.
Yeah.
Seeing the patterns, the logic, even the weird exceptions.
Yeah.
It makes it less daunting, maybe more exciting.
That's the goal, to see it as a fascinating system to explore, not just a list of rules to memorize and fear-breaking.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. Considering how flexible and really how constantly evolving English grammar is, how might that change the way you listen?
Good question.
How might it change the way you read everyday things? Maybe noticing those surprising grammatical choices people make and thinking about why they still work. What's the underlying logic or maybe the convention that makes communication happen even when the rules seem bent?